Hello and welcome to your free training, How to Finally Stop Drowning in Piles. I'm April Perry and I'm thrilled that you've made time for yourself today. We're going to walk through 4 steps you can apply right away to help you get out of physical and mental clutter. Now here's how you know if you're in the right place. If right now you have some sort of clutter or piles that really is inundating you, maybe it's thousands of emails, or maybe it's just stuff swirling around your head. Or maybe you have a desk that's just covered with papers or craft supplies and just stuff, and you feel like no matter how hard you try, you can never really get ahead. Well, at Learn, Do, Become, we have a very simple step-by-step process to help you get out of the clutter, and today I'm going to show you. Now, I want you to go back in time with me, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story. I started out really well with my first planner when I was 13 years old, and really I felt like I was this planning expert by the time I was in high school. When I was in college, I went to work for Franklin Covey, and I just thought, seriously, time management and planners are the best. But when real life started and Eric and I got married and we started having children, we moved 9 times. We had student loans and a mortgage. I had several surgeries. And I found that what was happening is I was waking up every morning feeling totally overwhelmed. And I was going to bed every night feeling like a failure. Now, I wonder if you can relate to that, whether you have children or not, that you wake up in the morning with really good intentions and you work hard all day. But at the end of the day, it's like you can barely breathe. It's like you never actually got anywhere. You've been going in circles and you feel like, no matter how hard I try, I can't get ahead. Now, if that's you, I want you to know there is a way out, and I want your happy ending to start today. I'm not saying this in a bragging way, but I need to be very clear that for the past 8 years, I haven't had any piles anywhere in my life. Emails at 0, even though I get hundreds a day. No papers on my desk, even though I have a lot of projects going on with my business and our home. The counters are generally clear. The house is generally organized. Our kids help. And it's not because we're magic. It's because I finally learned a system that worked with my life. Now, it started with the book, Getting Things Done by David Allen. This is an international bestseller. It's an amazing book. You may have it on your bookshelf or you may have read it. I found when I took what I learned from David Allen, made it a little bit simpler and a little bit more visual, and then combined things I learned from other productivity experts, that I was able to develop a very simple step-by-step process that I started teaching people around the world and mostly online. And what was so exciting is I found that not only did other people struggle with the things that I had been struggling with, but when they replicated my process, they were getting the same results. Finally having clarity, mental clarity, no piles. And then I got excited because I thought, well, maybe this can be my mission to help other people to get out of those piles when they feel like they're drowning and know that there's hope. So that's why I'm here today. Now, I'm not representing the David Allen Company, but they have invited me to be a GTD influencer because they know I'm one of their biggest cheerleaders. Okay, so let's look at these before photos. And I just am wondering if you can relate, because either you have mental clutter that kind of feels like this, or you have a place in your home or office that looks like this. Now, there is zero shame if this is the case. This is actually super normal. And maybe you don't have any physical clutter, but if I opened up closets and drawers, it would look something like this. Or maybe everything is totally organized in your house and office, but your mind just feels like a jumble with text messages and thoughts and ideas and dreams and everything kind of jumbled into one. So this is super normal what you're seeing right now. No shame, because all this means is that you're being hit by a fire hose every single day, and no one has ever shown you how to accommodate the fire hose in a way that works with your daily routine, your life, and your family. I'm going to show you the after photos though, and when I do, I want you to think of an adjective that comes to your mind when you finally see clear space. Maybe something like, I can breathe, peace, calm, beautiful, relaxing, inviting. I want you to recognize that when you actually get this clear space, your whole body feels like everything is so much better. Now, I'm going to also just mention that the point is not to have everything totally perfect. We actually love this one here you'll see on the left that has, the binders aren't perfectly color coordinated, and it's not necessarily a Pinterest-worthy desk. But when you think, wow, maybe I could have peace and relief and just a general sense of knowing where things are, that's what we're going for, and that's what I'm going to show you today. The main idea is that you need a command central. Now, a command central is a seamless system that holds all your tasks, ideas, projects, papers, bills, lists, emails, like everything that's currently sitting in piles is going to be cared for in a command central. Now, this can be paper, it can be also digital, or it can be hybrid. So mine's right here behind me. It's my command central I love, and I also have digital files that kind of parallel what you see behind me. This is so fun because once you get this command central, it's going to do the job of the piles. It's going to finally have everything in one place. You won't have to search for things. You won't have to be wondering where you put that bill, or your family will actually know where to find things as well. It's going to enable your mind to finally relax once you get this command central up and running, which is super fun. Now, this is everything that is involved with a command central, but I don't want you to get overwhelmed by it. I want you to think that I just took a machine and I took it apart to show you each of the individual parts. So like if I took your car and I showed you, here's the engine, here's the seats, here's the tires, right? Here's all the little parts of the car that go together. That's what this is. This is the command central. And once you build these things, oh my goodness, now you've got a functioning command central that will last you for the rest of your life. But what's so interesting is I hear all the time where people will say, well, I have tried to build a command central, or I have one, but it doesn't work. It's kind of like me saying, well, I have a car, but it actually doesn't work. If you have a command central that's not working, what I would suggest is that you don't have all the parts optimally either present or created and put together. Once you learn how to build it, how to run it, then it does the job. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. So super excited. But I'm not going to show you the whole command central today because it is kind of a lot, but I'm going to start with these two sections. We're going to learn how to make a context-based next actions list and a current projects list, because these two can actually work somewhat independently and you can get started right away. So I hope you're really excited. Now here's how you know if your head is doing the job of a command central. Do you have a constant voice that's in your head just reminding you to do things all day long, saying things like, did you follow up with that client? Did you send that email? Do you remember to put food in the crock pot? Were you going to call your mom? Were you going to go try to get that lawn mowed? What about losing weight? I mean, this little voice that just goes through your head, it's like constant chatter. And most people have that all day long. Now, if that's you, we're going to talk about how we can actually make that voice silenced and calm. Now think scale of 1 to 10. How would you feel, 10 being awesome, if that voice could be completely eliminated? Not because you ignore it, but because literally it has nothing to say. How would you feel if your mind was just calm because your lists are short and everything's moving forward? You're not late on anything. You're not forgetting anything. You're just moving forward at a pace that works with your life. Because typically what I hear is that that would be such a game changer. It's like million off the charts. This is what I want for you. Now today's class, we're going to go over these goals that I've got for you. Number 1, I just want you to renew hope and take a deep breath. Because if you are currently drowning, I'm going to show you the way out. But today I want to involve you. So we're going to have you identify one current project and then identify a next action to go with it. Then I am going to teach you how to create these context-based lists. And there's a little example you can see there on the screen. And then finally, we're going to review the 4 decision-making criteria to help you to know, okay, during a busy day, just tell me what I need to do step by step when I wake up in the morning. And I'll help you see how that can work. Now we're going to build on what's already working. So if you love a certain productivity app you use, or you just like making lists, or you've got Post-its, or a new planner, or a Google Calendar, or wall calendar, anything that you use naturally or something by habit, I want to build on those good habits. We're just going to tweak it a little bit to make it more functional. Now, last question before we jump into our 4 steps. How many meltdowns and shutdowns have you had in the past 7 days? I think a meltdown is something like, I'm slamming the door, crying, yelling, telling my family, I just can't do it anymore, I'm totally wiped out. And I think of a shutdown as something like, just get me some sugar and a movie. I'm just going to pretend like nothing needs me because I just can't handle it anymore. Typically, about 85% of the people who join us on this class have had at least one, and usually 30 to 40% have had 3 or more. I want you to know you're definitely not alone if you're feeling this way, but I also want you to know that what we're talking about today is not just organizing an office. It's going to look a little bit like that. But what we're talking about today is how to get your life back, and I'm thrilled to be able to help you. So let's go ahead and jump into step 1, which is to make a current projects list. Here's the thing, most people have no focus. It's not your fault, it's just that there's so many things needing you and you're trying to take care of all of them at the same time. So if I came and sat down with you and said, okay, tell me about your multi-step tasks you're working on right now, I guarantee you'd have between 50 and 100 you're trying to do simultaneously, which is why you feel like a pinball bouncing around a pinball machine. You just feel like there's way too much to do. So we're going to narrow this list and organize it into these 3 categories: for me, my family, and beyond. And I'll just give you an example of each one. So a project for me is something like, I need to establish a better exercise routine just to make sure I'm getting outside or getting fresh air or some movement every day. So establishing a routine is a project. For my family, it could be something like, we need to organize the garage. I want room for the bikes, or maybe be able to even park the car in there. I just want the kids to be able to find their toys and sports equipment and not just be throwing everything in piles. So that's a project. And then for beyond, I have a dollar bill to represent paid work. So something like, I'm putting together a new email series for my website. And then the cupcake represents volunteer work. Like, I'm going to help put on an event at the elementary school for the Teacher Appreciation Day. Now, let's go ahead and talk about a few more details about current projects. First of all, a project has a beginning and an end. The main mistake I see people make is they put routines on this list. So they say something like laundry, marketing my business, email, things that have to be done over and over and over again. So we're not going to put routines on this list. We're going to put projects that could actually be checked off by the end of the month. And ideally, I recommend no more than 7 or 8. Now, if 7 or 8 sounds like a lot to you right now, you probably have a lot of routines or a lot of other stuff going on, or maybe they're bigger projects. So I would just pick 1 to 3 projects. That's fine. I have 3 right now on my list, and that's good for me. I just recommend no more than 7 or 8, because from past experience, the more projects you get, 9, 10, 11, 12, that's when your brain feels overwhelmed, and then you don't want to do anything. You kind of go into that paralyzed mode. So 7 or 8 is the max I'd recommend total across those 3. Now here's the thing. If you're thinking, okay, April, fine, I'll pick 7 or 8, but what do I do with the other 92 projects that I have on my list? You can brainstorm them all and get them out of your head, but I suggest that you keep them on a next in line list and help them wait their turn. So it's not that you're going to forget about them, it's that you're going to pick your focus first. If you get those done, you can bring the next ones in. We're just not going to do all of them at the same time. Okay, sound good? Now, my husband uses Excel for his. So you can see here in the back, he just took all the brainstorm and just put them down into categories. So when you have those categories, sorry, let me go back that one. Here we go. So what Eric did is he just brainstormed, got everything out, and then he picked those 7 or 8 projects that he wanted to accomplish and put those right there at the very beginning. Super easy, right? Not overwhelming. So I want you to actually start thinking about your current projects. I'm going to invite you to share one in just a moment. I'll just show you a couple other examples. So here, this one on the left, just a written note. It says for me, for my family, and beyond. And there's something like applying for passports, right? That's a project. Or look over there on the other one that's digital. Very, very specific, super simple things like establishing a yoga routine or the community blanket squares, 2 rows left. Also, just little things for the business, hiring, where you don't have tons of projects all at the same time. You just have me, my family, and beyond. Super simple, no more than 7 or 8. Sound good? Okay, so let's go ahead and let's practice. What is one current project that's weighing on you the most right now that if clarified in advance would just help you feel like a new person? Like, what's that project that you're kind of procrastinating right now and you think, oh, I know I need to do this, but I just don't feel like it. Or every time you think about it, you don't even know where to start, so then you just stop thinking about it. Or every time you think, well, let me just get started, you feel like you need 15 hours all at the same time to get it done. Now, it might be something like cleaning your office. It might be something like taxes or getting a website up and running. It might be a room, the kitchen, the family room, the laundry room, establishing a better laundry routine, getting meals planned, being able to figure out how to run my budget. there's probably something that's weighing on you the most. If you can really think of it, I think like dominoes. What's that biggest domino? If I could just knock that over, it would make the biggest impact. So I want you to think about that and write it down and identify, okay, let's pick one project that really could get done within a month's time. And we're going to pick that project to go through the next 3 steps. Okay, so you got it? Now, before we jump into step 2 though, I'm going to share Eric's challenge. So this is my husband, Eric, and he had an amazing idea to not only focus on the project that feels overwhelming, but to also focus on a project in the for me category. Because so many times we put off doing things that we enjoy because we feel like, there's so many things that have to be done first. But I want you to just imagine for a moment that your emails are at 0, you have no paper piles anywhere, your routines are in place, the house is clean, and you feel like you finally have some space to breathe and do something you enjoy. What would you do that would replenish you? What would be that activity that you just think, wow, that would be so fun? Maybe something like playing the guitar or knitting or scrapbooking, just getting out and moving more, exercising more, riding your horse, playing with your kids, being able to finally work in that garden or do something that you love, dance, right? Art, painting, music. I mean, this is where real life starts coming back. Now, so many times people will hesitate and say, I don't have time to do something for me, or maybe I've even forgotten what I enjoy. But I want to challenge you on this to pick one, and sorry, it's not even just a challenge. Eric actually wants to call it a kindly and loving invitation, because really, this is about you being able to actually do something you love. So as we go through step 2, I want you to think about both of these projects, the one that's overwhelming and the one that's replenishing. And I want you to consider just this question. How would your life change if both of these projects could just get done quickly, easily, and well? How would you feel if every time you wrote down between 2 and 8 projects, all of them got done consistently, because that's just who you are? Because that's what we're talking about today, and that's what I want to show you is absolutely possible. So let's go ahead into step 2, which is to effectively identify a next action. Now, if you learn this step well, you will never procrastinate again. Now, I know you might be thinking, I'm a professional procrastinator. I really could get paid for this. If there were a job called the procrastinator, that would be me. Now, I would have said the same thing about myself. I always waited till the last minute to do anything, all growing up and for several years of having children. But what I want to suggest is it's not that we're really professional procrastinators. It's that no one ever taught us how to effectively identify a next action. So I'm going to teach you that today because I think you're going to be really excited. So here's the official definition. A next action is the next specific, visible activity that will lead your chosen project toward completion. But this is the key right here. You're going to boil the next step all the way down, so you couldn't possibly procrastinate even if you tried. I want this next step to be so simple, you're almost embarrassed to write it down because it just looks so easy, all right? That's how you know you found your next action. When you see it, your heart gets a little lift and you think, oh, I could do that. That's the next action. But let me show you the 2 biggest mistakes people make. Mistake number 1 is people identify a sub-project instead of a next action, all right? Now, I'm going to give you an example of this, and you're probably going to see yourself in here. Let's say I told you I'm going to revamp my office. I'm going to purge the filing cabinets, go through the bookshelves, everything on the cubbies, organize the whole desk, drawers, cabinets, everything. Okay, and what if you said, okay, April, well, what's your next action? What if I said the desk? Okay, because I hear this all the time. The desk is my next action. Okay, a desk is not a next action. A desk is a sub-project. But a next action could be something like organize that top left cubby for 10 minutes. See how I put time frame around it and a very simple, specific spot, so I couldn't procrastinate even if I tried. Now you might be thinking, okay, but 10 minutes is not going to make a dent into everything that I have to do, and I get it. But what happens is we underestimate the power of what we can get done in 10 minutes, and then what happens is we underestimate what happens when you combine 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes. It really adds up, and that's how you get out of the pile. So we're going to talk about this. But I want to explain mistake number 2, and we're going to practice. So here's mistake number 2. The next action, it is a very specific thing, but it can't be done until something else happens first. You're probably going to see this really feeling familiar to you. So here's a situation to kind of give you the story. I spoke with a woman in one of my workshops, and she had dozens of boxes of books in her living room. She said, nobody can come over because my room is just covered with books. And I said, okay, well, what's your next action? She said, well, I think I just need to go order bookshelves. Now, because she was procrastinating, I was guessing that really wasn't her next action. So we boiled it down. I said, okay, can you go right now and can you open up your computer and order bookshelves? Like, can you really do that? She said, well, first I need to measure my office walls to see which size bookshelves I need to order. So I said, okay, can you go right now and order and measure those office walls, right? So we're boiling it down. And she said, well, I can't find my tape measure. So see, it said on her list, I need to order bookshelves. What it needed to say was, I need to go find, buy, or borrow a tape measure. Those are two totally different things. Now, Eric likes to think about the current projects as like a Pez dispenser and the next actions as the Pez candy. So imagine, let's say you did have 7 projects that you're working on this month. It's kind of like you have 7 little Pez dispensers that are ready to go, where you can pop back the heads and just pull out the next actions. So what you can do is you can brainstorm all the steps for each of those 7 projects, and then you can put them in order and like load the Pez dispensers. So maybe I could get a piece of paper for my Organize the Office project, and I can write down all the little steps. Like, well, first I need to clean out the cubbies one by one, right? And we'd have those as little individual steps. First cubby, second cubby, third cubby. Clean out the drawers. I'm going to get that bookshelf organized. I'm going to purge the filing cabinet for 10 minutes at a time. Make them super specific next actions. Because then what you can do is just take one next action at a time and they're already in the right order. So that's kind of a fun way if you'd like to think of it like a Pez dispenser. Maybe get one, keep it on your desk to give you inspiration. Now, Eric wanted to plan a family vacation. We had wanted to go to Yosemite for years, but we always felt too overwhelmed to plan it. Well, Eric sat down one day and decided, I'm just going to make this one of our current projects. So he identified step by step exactly what needed to happen. What was so fun is by the time we actually brainstormed what it would take to make this happen, we discovered we could just take 2 minutes and send a message to our friends and a couple texts, and then we can find out some recommendations for a campsite. So we did that. We got some extra camping resources and just went step by step until our family was able to enjoy a wonderful camping trip. Very cost effective and very, very fun. Okay, I'm going to give you a couple more examples and then we're going to get you a chance to practice. Eric and I needed a logo for our website, and neither one of us has any graphic design skills. But we said, well, we could just get out markers and a piece of paper and just sketch out our ideas, and then we can take a picture of that and send that to our designer. Very simple next action, and that's how our logo was made. Stephanie was one of our before and afters, and she said her room made her want to hyperventilate beforehand. She just set the timer for 15 minutes and went in and did what she could, and then she pulled out. Over time, she was able to find the rug and it tied the whole room together, and she was so excited. So I want you to practice now. What is the very next specific, visible activity that will lead your chosen project toward completion? Let's boil it all the way down. If it is something like you like to play the guitar, well, do you want to spend 10 minutes finding some guitar chords online that you could start to practice? Do you want to go order some new strings because maybe there's a couple that are broken? Or if your project is something like those taxes, could you go to the office store and get the tax software that you need? Could you call your accountant and set up an appointment? Could you spend 10 minutes finding those receipts? If it's something like I want to organize a room, could you take 10 minutes to just brainstorm your vision for the room? Or could you just start with the left side of the pantry? I want you to think of something so easy you couldn't procrastinate it if you tried. 10 minutes, super simple, okay? Now, once you have that next action, we're going to go ahead into step 3. This is where it's going to become really fun because now that you've identified your projects and boiled them all the way down to their next action, well, now we want to know where are we going to put those next actions. When I look at people's lists, I see a super long list of projects and errands and phone calls and tasks and things to discuss. Everything's just kind of all over the place. So I would suggest we change that, and I would love for you to first have a very simple, streamlined calendar with tons of white space. I only want to see deadlines on your calendar. things that actually have to be done that day. So if you have a dentist appointment, you have a meeting scheduled, you have an event with friends, things that actually are scheduled as appointments, great. And things that are deadline driven tasks, like I have to send this email this day, I have to make the phone call this day, something like that. But then I want most of your calendar to just be open space, because then you'll want to look at it. You won't feel overwhelmed. Then what you're going to do is have this list work in tandem with your calendar, just organized by where you are when you're doing the tasks. So instead of organizing by like home, family, work, personal, things like that, we'll organize by things you're going to do when you're at home, when you're running errands, having a discussion, when you're on the phone, or when you're at the computer. So under home, you could say something like 10 minutes clearing out the left drawer of my desk. Or under errands, I'm going to go pick up some paint samples for the new dining room project. Or to discuss, I could say something like, I'm going to talk with my spouse about the best time we could go on a little getaway. Or under phone, I'm going to call the accountant. Or under computer, I'm going to print that PDF I need for the passports. I want there to be really super specific tasks organized by context, and none of them will look overwhelming because they're all next actions. Now, you don't have to use paper. There are lots of digital apps that say that they work with GTD, getting things done. Things like Pocket Informant, To Do, Remember the Milk, Cozy. We really like Evernote as a resource to keep track of all of our digital files. Eric also uses Evernote. You can find it and download it for free at evernote.com to keep track of his context-based next actions. So he has the exact same context written down, and then he just puts in the tasks for that week that need to get done. Let me tell you a little real-life story, though. So Eric had taken our son Ethan to his basketball practice. It was about 15 minutes away, and the practice was going to last 1 hour. But Eric didn't need to actually be there for the practice. He just needed to be able to bring Ethan home at the end. So he said, well, I've got an hour. I do have some errands on my errands list that I could run right here in this area, and I have a few phone calls to make. So he put in his little earbuds and made the phone calls as he drove and took care of those errands. By the time he picked up Ethan, he'd gotten like 7 different tasks done on his list and felt so accomplished, but then also got to enjoy time with our son. So really simple step by step, working by context, it's going to be amazing. Now here's a few more details. This is just one list created or updated per week. So you're going to have your calendar that has day-specific information, and then this is just one list per week, including tasks for those projects you're working on that week. So let's say I'm working on 6 projects this month, and I just want to do 2 that I'm really focusing on this week. I will put the next actions for those 2 projects on that next actions list. And then if I get those done early in the week and I think, ooh, I have more time, I can reload. I can add more tasks, or I can wait until my next weekly review and get the next actions in there. Now, this can also include extra one-step tasks on this list. So if a friend says, hey, can you drop that book by my house next time you're out? You go put your book in the car, and then you write on your errands list, drop the book off at so-and-so's house. That way, when you're out running errands, you can just do it. Now, the great thing about this list is it's not calendar specific. However, if there is a deadline kind of associated with something that's on the list, like, oh, my boy's haircut needs to happen at least by next Friday, then I make the calendar trigger for those haircuts on the calendar. So that way, nothing on this list is stressing me out. I have a calendar to keep track of deadlines, but this list is options, just ideas, things that I might want to do when I'm in the appropriate context. Sound good? So I want you to just write this down. Now that you've identified your project and a very specific next action, where will you be when you're doing your next action? Now, if it's something like, yeah, I am going to be cleaning out my desk, then I'll be either, at home, or you can add an at the office category if you have an office that's outside your home. If you're going to be, going and picking up some new guitar strings from the music store, then that would go under errands. If you're having a conversation with your spouse, under to discuss. So just think about what's your project, what's your next action, and just visualize yourself. Okay, where am I going to be when I'm doing it? And then write that down. And then we're going to be going into step 4. And this is where I just get excited because this is where we're going to tie it all together. When you first wake up in the morning, before you jump into email or social media or anything like that, I recommend that you first look at your calendar to see what you have that day. Do you have an 8 a.m. appointment? Do you have something that you need to do at 6 o'clock so you need to make dinner earlier? I want you to be able to get kind of a feeling for your day, but your calendar, again, is going to be super streamlined. So it's just a few things that you need to think about when you first look at your day. Then you're going to work by context. So for example, while my children are at school, I do all my computer work. Then when they come home, I can just shut my computer. I can work on home tasks while they're doing homework and getting snacks, and I can just be with them. Then when we're running errands later, I group my errands. So we're doing the errands while we're out. And when Eric and I actually have time to sit down and talk, we have our to discuss list. When you can group your tasks, it's going to help you so much during the day because you're working from shorter lists and everything on that list is a next action. So it becomes so easy to just check things off and get them done and start making movement on those projects. Now you also look at time and energy. So you're going to match it. If I've got a lot of time, but I'm low energy, then I'm not going to start some big, huge project that feels overwhelming. I'm going to work on something else, maybe just sorting emails or files. And the reason priority is last is because you're prioritizing what's happening inside of a context. So when I'm running errands, I'm prioritizing errands, but I'm not worried about my computer work because I'm not on the computer. That way, you're not always feeling like you're supposed to be somewhere else, because that was my biggest problem. No matter where I was, I felt like I should be doing something else. This is going to change that for you. So let's go ahead and let's look at our review of what we learned today and what I really hope you'll put into place right away. So number one, I really encourage you to make a current projects list. Figure out from the hundreds on your plate, what are the 7 or 8 that you could feasibly get done by the end of this month? 7 to 8 maximum, could be fewer. Then I want you to identify the next action for each one. Let's boil it all the way down so we couldn't possibly procrastinate even if we tried. Then take those next actions and we're going to put them on a context-based next actions list for the week. The ones you really want to work on this week, put them down. Where are you going to be when you're doing them? Make it very, very simple and easy. And then you're going to work from those 4 key criteria. So context, time, energy, and priority. Now I know I've kind of given you a lot of information, but I hope you feel excited about this. And I'm not asking if you have this totally memorized. My main question I just want to know right now is, do you feel hopeful? Do you feel like you can at least see a light at the end of the tunnel, even a faint light, to go from feeling overwhelmed to feeling like I could actually make movement on this project? That's how I want you to feel. Now here's the thing. You don't have to do all of this perfectly. You can practice a little bit at a time, but you can make that list. You can figure out next actions. You can figure out how to organize your list and make it super simple. Now, you may want to stop here, and that's totally fine. But you may be asking, well, how can I get more mental clarity? Can I work with you? Can you show me how to build the rest of the Command Central? Can you help me to be able to get rid of every pile in my house? And maybe help me get my family on board and organize professionally and personally. Now, if that's you, we have a program where we can serve you better, and it's called Steps to Everyday Productivity, the STEP program. Now, I know everybody's different, so we have 2 options. We have a STEP self-study, which really is just do it yourself, okay? Where if you're the kind of person who just says, April, I just need the information and I can make it happen, awesome. STEP Mastery is where the party is. So if you think, well, I want a community and I want to interact with real people and I want answers to my questions and I want additional resources to help me, that's STEP Mastery. But before I jump into the details, I just want you to ask yourself this question. How long do you think it takes to get organized? Because here's the thing. Most people I work with say infinity, forever, years and years. But what if I told you that we could help you get your whole Command Central up and running in about 2 weeks? 15 to 20 hours self-paced. How would you feel if in just a couple weeks' time you could actually have your whole Command Central built and finally have a path to be able to get all those projects done and streamline your entire life? Because I'm about to walk you through these 8 modules. And whether you're interested in joining a formal program or not, I want you to walk through this path, because if you are drowning, this is the way out. I have not only helped myself, but I've helped thousands of people, and I have never one time seen anybody go through the 8 modules and not be successful. So I'm going to show you how it works. Okay, so module 1 is just making time and creating space. I didn't have a desk or an office, but we had a little card table, and I thought, well, I can make my own little spot in the corner of my bedroom. So this is my very first Command Central. Since then, people have sent me pictures and shown me theirs. The key is you're going to work with what you have. So if you have a little office or a little desk, awesome. If you don't, we're going to do it digitally, or you might just have a few little folders and things like that to keep you going. And if you have a huge dream office, it's going to be wonderful, but we're going to not feel stress about the actual desk. We're just going to say, I'm going to build a spot that's mine, get my Command Central up and running. Then module 2 is getting your emails to 0, because very few people know the thrill of living out of inbox 0. Do you know how awesome it is when you're not worried that anything is slipping through the cracks? You've responded to any of the emails that need you, but you have filters in place to keep most of it out of your inbox. I'm going to show you how to do that. So even if you have 6 figures worth of emails, we'll get them to 0 in a couple of hours without deleting. You don't have to delete. You can if you want, but we're going to show you how to make them searchable, accessible, and make it work with your mind. Then when you look down at your phone, you're not going to see thousands of emails. This is going to change the way your brain works, and you're going to feel thrilled. And then we come into module 3, which is just collecting your tools. Because like if we were going to be building a car or building some other machine, you need to get the right things. Now it's going to be function first, then we'll go for beauty. You can start super simple, like even using cereal boxes for your cubbies and basic folders. You don't have to have anything fancy, but you can make it fancier as you go along if you want. And then module 4, we're actually going to create the system. So this is like the Lego instruction manual for building a command central. I've spent thousands of hours learning how to do this, so I can teach you how to do it quickly. I'm just going to show you. Okay, let's go ahead. We're going to build our current project support materials. Now we're going to build the routines list. We're going to put together your tickler. We're going to make your future opportunities folders. Like I'm going to show you exactly how to do this. So you're just saying, okay, I can do this in my sleep. It's super easy because the thought process has already been done for you. And then we go into module 5, which is to gather your stuff, because I know you have things all over the place. It might be in the corner of your bedroom. It might be filling up a whole other room in your house, or the living room, or the kitchen, or the office. You just might have piles. We're going to gather together the things that need to be processed into one place and do a mind sweep to get everything out of your head. Then we're going to go into module 6, where you become a master at processing. Because here's the thing, the reason you have piles is because no one ever showed you how to accommodate that fire hose, and this flowchart shows you how to do it. I'm going to teach you step by step, so when you get a message, a post-it note, a text, something from the doctor that needs to be taken next Thursday, but a phone call has to be done first, right? All that kind of stuff. I'm going to teach you exactly what to do with it. So not only do you know where it lands in your command central, you know when you're going to see it again, and you have confidence that it will not slip through the cracks. Everything has a landing place and nothing is in limbo. Can you tell I get excited about this? Because it has made the biggest difference. Then we take you into module 7, where you learn to schedule your weekly review. 1 hour a week will save you 10. Just like your car needs an oil change and basic maintenance, so does your command central. But we're going to make it so easy for you, just showing you, hey, here's your checklist. Here's what you need to do. You're going to end your weekly review feeling so light and happy and thinking, why did no one teach me how to do this earlier? But it's going to be fun. Now, remember I told you about the routines list, how routines and projects are different. Here's an example of a routines list where you can see daily, weekly, monthly, twice a year, and yearly with categories down the left. Now, I have my routines list in Evernote, and I'll give you an exact link to my routines if you want to check that out inside the program. But here's the thing, you get a great, simple routines list, a streamlined calendar, and a context-based next actions list. That's the trifecta. Those 3 things working for you, that's how I run businesses while I take care of my children and take care of all the stuff that needs to happen while still being able to take a nap every day. Literally, I'm going to show you how it works. And then I want you to be able to get that rest and the enjoyment out of your life too. And then module 8 is where we go beyond just being an email ninja and having no piles to actually doing what you're meant to do and completing your projects and dreams. Do you feel that there's something that you're uniquely meant to do, but you can never get to it because you're just overwhelmed by stuff? Now, I've asked people in the past, and here are some things that they said. Things like becoming a coach, getting a business from concept to reality, actually being able to just enjoy the day-to-day things and not feeling stressed and crazy. Maybe you want to volunteer more. Maybe you want to get that CD published or be able to actually be out there serving people in a way that really matters to your family, your friends, inviting people to dinner, just being able to do something that has an impact on the world that's greater than just what you're doing for yourself. Because what I found is that most people have this desire to give back. They just feel like they don't have the time or bandwidth, and that's what we're going to help you to do in that module. Now, if you're just wondering, okay, well, April, tell me like specifically what does a program look like? Like, let's say I log in. What does that look like? So here's an example of one of the modules. At the beginning of every module, there's a very specific goal. And we're telling you, here's your goal for the module, and here's your next actions, okay? It's like they're little Pez dispensers. Step 1, step 2, step 3. Everything is 5 to 10 minutes. I know you're drowning, so I'm not giving you hours and hours of stuff. I'm giving you 5 to 10 minutes at a time so you can knock it out of the park. And literally, you click into one of those steps. It's like a 5-minute video, and here's a little transcript. If you don't even have time to watch the video, I've got you covered because I don't want you overwhelmed. I'm giving you little pieces at a time to help you build that system. Now remember, today we talked about 2 parts of the Command Central, building the context-based next actions list and being able to have our current projects list. I'm going to show you the nuances to the rest of it because most people don't set up their Command Central optimally if they have one at all. I'll show you what mistakes not to make. I'll show you how to make them work better together. We'll talk about digital options, paper options, professional and personal, what to do if you want 2 Command Centrals, or how you can unite them so that your brain feels calm and excited. That's the goal. Now we've got worksheets, super easy to just walk you through the steps with videos. I bring you in my office, I just show you, here's what I'm doing, step by step, audios. I mean, everything is done so that you can just breathe and go through at your own pace and be able to get the answers that you need. So that's a STEP self-study program. Let me talk to you now about STEP Mastery. Here's kind of the comparison chart where you can see both self-study and mastery. They both have the same 8 modules. They have the videos, the audios, photos, all of that. But Mastery is going to go deeper and it's going to actually show you how you're going to get more support. Didn't want to give you just more stuff to go through, but I want you to see, I totally have support so that I can make this happen. For example, in Mastery, you're going to have all access license for a spouse. This is optional, but if your spouse wants to come in with you, it's going to be amazing. Your example is going to speak volumes, and then they're going to say, what on earth are you doing? And you'll say, come on in, it's going to be great. We also have a Facebook group exclusive for STEP Mastery where you're going to watch how other people are getting results. People who felt like they just had so much stuff they didn't even know what to do with it, all of a sudden now have organized spaces to be able to do things they enjoy and they love. Amy is in a master's program, works full-time, and has 2 preschoolers. She shared this unbelievably productive day one time and talked about all the stuff that she needed to do, she was able to get done, and then said, and I even had an hour for fun. All of this with no stress. I'm not even finished with the modules yet. Life-changing. That's what I want for you, and that's why we're so excited that you're here. Because when you get to be surrounded by other people who are digging themselves out of the piles, who are becoming the heroes in their own story, it can't help but motivate you to do the same. This room is one of my favorites because like the couch is the same, the little cubbies are the same, the table's the same, but what changed? Now she has a Command Central. Now she has a place that's going to organize and take care of all those piles. And if you're thinking, really, a Command Central is going to get rid of my piles? Yes, that's what it does, and that's why I'm so excited. STEP Mastery also has some helpful onboarding emails to get you familiar with the program. And then we have 3 group live Q&A calls where you can come in. You're going to submit your questions beforehand. We're going to answer your questions. You get to chat online with other people who are in the program. And if you can't make it to the live class, that's okay. You still submit your questions. We answer them and we send you the time-stamped recording. To save you time, you can just zip ahead to find the answers that you need. Now, if you want to join STEP Mastery, we have something called a STEP library. These are additional resources to take you a little bit deeper. But I want you to think of it like a public library. It's not more stuff you have to go through. It's just additional things that are going to help you organize the digital photos, work better as a family, streamline, simplify, make sure that you're applying what you're learning in a way that really is helpful for your family. So I'll explain some of the things that are in the STEP library because this is only with the webinar offer and only with STEP Mastery. Now, Create Your Day is in the STEP library. This is an audio and a template designed to help you to actually be able to go beyond calendars and tasks and look at who you're becoming and look at relationships. So I hope you love this. This will be arriving to you via email. Now, a few more things that are in the STEP library, like building a STEP system for kids. If you have children, they don't need a full Command Central like you do, but they need parts of it, and they're going to continually have those parts change as they go from being, as young as 4 all the way up through middle school, high school, and college. We will show you what we do in our own home with our family for school projects, papers, making sure everyone's helping out around the house. That's what we're going for. So excited to be able to share this one with you. If you want to just get rid of all the clutter and just decluttering your home and office is your top priority, this audio and template will walk you through a project helping you do exactly that. So if you just say, I just need a systematic way to get the whole house clean, we'll show you what the best decluttering books teach, and we'll show you how that fits in with a STEP system. Game changer right there. If you want to learn how to use Evernote, I personally love that. Eric and I use it every day because it organizes probably about 30% of the stuff that used to sit on our desks and helps me be able to put information in an easily searchable format. It's fantastic. So we have a creative ebook to show you how to use it. We've got an introductory training, and we've even built the entire STEP system inside Evernote to make it super easy for you to just already have it done for you. So again, here's that comparison chart so you can see, okay, self-study and mastery. I want you thinking, all right, what is it I need? What is it that will help me to be able to make this work? Super excited to help you with that. As you're thinking about coming into the program, I'm guessing you might want to see what other people have had as their results when they join. So I'm going to show you some pictures and share some testimonials so that you can see this is not just about me. This is about people just like you who are tired of living in piles and who want to make a change. Like this one here. I asked Anitra if I could share her before and after, and she said, sure, I'd be honored. She said, but I've only finished half the room. And I just thought, half the room? Look at this. I mean, you walk into the room above, and how do you feel? You probably feel like you're drowning. You feel inundated. You walk in the room below, and you think, okay, she's got a plan. She is prepared. She has a place to work. So inspiring every time I see it. Or this one from Javenta. I mean, this didn't even look like the same room. I'd look closely to think, is that the same desk? Where's the light switches? It was so hard to even recognize it because she's had such a huge transformation. And it wasn't that she wasn't willing to work hard or she didn't want to put in effort. She just didn't want to waste her time and she didn't know exactly what to do step by step. But once she learned the steps, she was able to get results. And I love this. I feel so happy. I want to share what Shelly said because if you're someone who's struggling right now with late fees and just remembering to pay your bills and you're never looking at your calendar, Shelly was able to change that. Just by looking at her calendar daily, she didn't have late fees when it was time to pay her credit card bill. Then she came back on and said, just want to let you know, STEP has caused me to dodge another financial bullet. Now she explains the whole story, but why don't you look at the bottom where she says, so far I've caught over $365 worth of leakage because I'm keeping my inboxes clean. When you finally get a system that seals the cracks, you're no longer going to have money slipping through. And that's going to help you to feel more confident, help you to feel more excited, and help you keep to your budget. I love what Jill posted, how much she loves having a kitchen counter not piled with paper, and more paper. Now she has an inbox. Now she has a place to actually put things, and then she can keep that beautiful kitchen clear so she can focus on her family. Or this one, it was a command central built inside of a kitchen cupboard. You don't have to have a big office. You don't have to have a desk. And if you're thinking, wait, my kitchen cupboards are so full, there's no way a command central will fit in there. Well, guess what happens? It's almost like the space in your house doubles when you learn how to streamline and how to organize. I had little tiny apartments when I was doing this, and oh my goodness, it's made such a difference. So we'll show you. I love what Narissa said. So I just finished the online course STEP system a couple weeks ago, and it has, all caps, changed my life. She actually finished a very functional to-do list, and finally, she's able to actually see what she has to offer. She recognizes she's a steward of her life, and by her being able to get out of the piles, now she's able to make that progress, and that's what I love. I mean, this picture here, I didn't even notice the mural in the part on the left, right? You can't even see it. You just see stuff. You can't even sit down at that desk. But then by clearing it out, getting this noodle desk in place, now you can see the beautiful art. Her husband actually created that. How fun, how inspiring. This is from Gwen. She's an artist and she got some green paint and she painted her command central. She also said she wanted to be able to do some still life drawings and sketching with her children. So she made that a routine and posted a picture of her kids sitting around the table. And then she posted this picture, which I was so excited about. They were able to find a home, a new home for their family, and had a quick move. And she says, I feel so much better prepared to process the flood of decisions and projects because of the systematic, organized new way of thinking and processing from the STEP program. Timing was perfect. Thank you for the program. It's been life-changing. I mean, you notice the word life-changing happening a lot, and I don't take this for granted. I feel so privileged to get to be part of your life and help you to finally have that relief that you've needed. Fiona joined our Mastery program, and she said, before I left work the day I joined Mastery, my office was cleared out and my work command central defined. Again, she's not afraid to work. She just didn't know exactly what to do. She said, I realized the stuff that was weighing me down actually was not just doable, but easily done. Isn't that fun? And then she says, I've done more in the past 3 months than in the past 3 years. Go Fiona. Naomi says, when I plug in my routines and responsibilities, I can see where I have time to do projects and run errands. The STEP system is working for me. I'm so proud of her. Look at what she's doing, creating routines and then figuring out how she has time. Or Rick Mulready saying that what we taught him gave him peace of mind at the end of every day, something he'd been striving for a long time. If you could actually get to the point where you feel peace of mind at the end of every day, knowing everything is safe, how would that change things for you? That's why we're so excited to be able to help you. Now there's this balance because, of course, you can just apply the free steps you learned today and you can start making progress. And I'm sure you have a lot of great habits and things you're already doing, and that's awesome. But I also just want you to know, if you feel like really you could use a helping hand, you could use someone else to show you this path and make it easier for you, I want you to come in because I know that this program works and we're so happy to be able to have you come join us. I want you to be one of our after pictures. I want you to be able to take this before that you're living and that's feeling overwhelming, and I want you to actually learn the steps, not only to be able to get it organized, but then to be able to keep it that way. You could hire a professional organizer to come in and do this for you, and it would cost thousands of dollars. What I most often hear is, I ran out of money before I ran out of clutter. The great thing though is that when you learn for yourself, now you're not depending on someone else to come from the outside to make this work. You're actually learning, you have it all inside, you just need someone to show you how your brain works best when it comes to getting rid of clutter. I was so excited to see what Jessica sent in. It says, I'm committed to organizing my home, life, and mind so I can truly show my family and myself the best of my love. I mean, look how cute. And she just said, I just finished step 3 of module 1. I'm in tears because this hits to the very center of my soul. I mean, finally, you're realizing it's not my fault if I'm in a mess. I'm not alone, and there is a way out. We want to be able to serve you and help you, creating a command central. And again, this is not about organizing office. This is about finally getting your life back. All right, so I'm just going to show you a little bit more now about the offer to help you to make the decision that's best for you. Here you can see the self-study and mastery. You can see that comparison, how they both have the modules, they both have all the videos, resources. The instructions are the exact same to build the command central. But then you can see mastery does go deeper, offers more of that support for you. Now I do have a special bonus. If you would like to purchase Step Mastery by midnight tonight in your time zone, we will give you an additional free self-study for a friend. So that means that you can bring in an accountability partner who can come in and have all the same instructions to building the command central. This is so fun, and I hope that that would be a wonderful incentive for you to come in and get going with the Step Mastery. So again, that's if you want to buy Step Mastery by tonight at midnight. Now, as we jump into pricing, I want you to just think about the cost of being disorganized. Are you spending money on late fees at the library, or overdue fines on your bills, or wasting gas, or missing out on coupons? I also want you to think about the benefits to having a seamless system. Could you finally get your business up and running? Could you finally get that certification? Or would you be the person who gets the raise because you're so organized? So here's our special webinar pricing that's good for you, and I'll share how the offer is going to work. We're always open at full price, so you can join Self-Study and Step Mastery at any time. We don't open or close at this point, for $247 for Self-Study or $497 for Mastery. Now, if you want the best pricing and the best bonuses we will ever offer, then you can get that. The Self-Study is $197, the Mastery is $397. We give you about 2 days to be able to make that decision. So I'll show you a little bit more about that. And you can do one pay if you want, or you can break it up. So we can break it up into 3 payments for Self-Study, 6 payments for Step Mastery. For less than $67 today, you could come into either program. Let me tell you a little bit more about it and help answer any questions that you might have. So this little chart will help you to see how this goes. If you are thinking, okay, I do want to buy self-study, you can buy anytime between now and 2 days from now at midnight your time to be able to access the best pricing ever. So totally fine, open for you for the next couple of days. If you just want the best pricing and you want that STEP library that comes with Mastery, that includes building the STEP system for kids and the Evernote resource and getting rid of all the clutter, organizing your home, and more, you can also purchase anytime between now and 2 days from now, midnight, your time zone. So you have time there. But if you're thinking, okay, I would love to get the Mastery, including the best pricing and that STEP library, which is the webinar bonus, and I would love to purchase by tonight at midnight to be able to receive the free self-study for a friend, then that's the offer that you'd want to take. And again, we're always open at full price. Let me explain a little bit about the zero risk policy because I don't want you feeling concerned. I want you to feel like this is such a safe purchase. Not only do we give you access immediately to everything, but you have 60 days, no questions asked, get your money back if you are not more organized than you've ever been in your entire life. Now, I only want you coming in if you're serious. If you really want to build your command central and you're thinking, I've got to make this happen. This is critical. This is my goal. I'm going to do it. Then this is the right program for you. But you can make that purchase with confidence knowing you have 60 days. Now, you can also break it down into payments. No extra cost. We're not charging anything extra. So you can either do one payment, which is great, or you can break it down, whatever works best with your life and with your budget. And you get lifetime access to all your program features. So not only are you not in a rush because you have this forever, but you're also grandfathered in. So as we're continually making improvements and updates and edits to the program, you will never have to pay for those. You're grandfathered into all of that. This is the best time. Now, we're not going anywhere. We're still going to be here at Learn, Do, Become. But if you want the best we'll ever offer, we would love to have you join now. I want to answer a couple questions about upgrades and downgrades. If you want to start with self-study and move up to Mastery, you can. It's about $247, well, exactly, to upgrade. You'll find you save about $50 if you start with Mastery now. But if you're thinking, what if I wanted to start with Mastery, but then I didn't need all of that? Totally fine. You have 60 days to downgrade. We'll lock in the $197 pricing for the self-study, all right? So really, if you're on the fence, we recommend you start with Mastery because that's where we can serve you the best. I know when you come in Mastery, not only are you going to have the 8 modules that are also with self-study, but now you have the library, getting your kids on board. You have your spouse, if you'd like. You can also have access to that whole STEP library, the Facebook group, the Q&A calls. Anything that you need, we're there to help you. And if you want to buy by tonight at midnight, then you're able to receive that free self-study for a friend, okay? So I hope that you feel really excited about that. Also, you have the first payment is about the same for either one. We actually didn't intend on it being that way, but it turned out, hey, it's about $67 either way. So if you think, well, even if I just want to make one payment, you might as well come into Mastery and then be able to make that decision based on what works best for you. Again, only come in if you're really determined and excited to get organized. But if you are, we cannot wait to serve you. When you come in the program, again, 60 days, explore it. I want you coming in, clicking through, watching all of it. It's not like the monster in the closet. It's not scary. You come in and every 10 minutes you invest in this program, you are going to see immediate results. And really, getting this free self-study for a friend, some of you won't be concerned about that, and that's fine. If you just want to wait and think about it a little bit more, you have 2 days to be able to consider that and be able to join us. Totally up to you. But I've gone both ways. I'm purchasing programs often because I utilize them, I apply them, and I love it. But when I join a program, sometimes I'm still thinking about it, and that's fine. And sometimes I think, I just know I want this. This is hitting right to my pain points. And if this does what it says it's going to, it's going to be amazing. If that's how you're feeling, come in, join Mastery, get the free self-study for a friend, and watch what it's going to do to your life. So excited for you. Okay, so one more thing to think about as far as if you own a business. If you feel like, oh, wow, this could be actually a business expense. We're not giving tax advice, but what we found is that a lot of people, if either they own a business or their spouse owns a business, they might want to come in and do this together and be able to utilize this to get their business organized. That's what we personally do, is being able to organize all the details that go with family and running the company. So just something to think about. We've also seen people who had an employer buy all of it or part of it or reimburse them if they found that the program brought success, which that's what we guarantee. So again, here's your comparison chart so you can just see, all right, which one of these would be the best for me. They're both excellent programs, and really, if you are a do-it-yourself kind of person, the self-study would be all you would need. But if you feel like, oh, I love some hand-holding, I love some community, and I would love all the bonuses, then the mastery program would be ideal. So again, here's your pricing. I hope that you're really deeply considering this. We can't wait to work with you. We'll send you some follow-up emails to make sure you get the right links and the right information. We're here to answer any questions you have. Our goal is to serve you. Our goal is to help you never have to drown in a pile again. I want you to wake up excited, and I want you to go to bed content. And I want you to know that all of the stress that you might be feeling from those piles, it's absolutely possible to make that all go away and be able to have a life you can't wait to wake up and live. So thank you so much for being with us. Thrilled to be able to help you today and can't wait to see you in the STEP program.